important here. Game one, especially, is very much a race. And so being on the play, super important.
Yeah, and we've watched Wesley for the last several rounds with Pilot Mono Red Aggro very
So are we back?
Talking. Test. Talking. Test. Test.
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Corbin? Can you hear me?
Hmm. Oh, I see you, Ross.
What is going on over here? Okay, Hickman found the ghost vacuum and finally got through, and we're going to game 3. Trying, chat. We're trying. Okay.
Oh, they can hear us. Okay, then we're in. Hello.
Can you hear Corbin? Can you hear me better now?
Okay, I guess we're back with you all. Shout out to the team on the back end for getting us back in, working through the technical difficulties, which, to be clear, are things breaking well beyond any of our control. So I'm glad we were able to get back in here to hang out with you all. So welcome back. As it turns out, I think that we'll actually are, at least as it stands, watching the same feed you all are. So we're all truly live here together in our top 4 match.
Okay, so this is going to be game 3. Fan Chen Yang on the play, having lost game 2. Um, and taking a look at Fan Chen's sideboard, since I have the lists up, does have a 4th copy of Temporary Lockdown, has a Day of Judgment that usually sits in the sideboard as a way, as something you can get with Invasion of Arcavios, but will come in after sideboard since you want to cast that as early as possible. We saw the Get Lost drawn in game 2, so I imagine that is also in the deck. Don't think there's anything else that Fan Chen will want. So just a few extra sweepers to try to stave off.
I can hear you. You are heard. Oh, you're alive.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
if we're in, we're watching a stock up resolve along with you here as Fan Shin Yang selects the cards, puts the others on the bottom. If you heard typing, that's probably a good sign. Hopefully, you hear me talking. We're in.
Yeah.
Welcome in, everybody. It's the top four. Corporate House here with Ross Merriam, and we are here. We are watching the match with you in our semifinals NRG Showdown. Madison, Wisconsin, $10,000 event here. All kinds of invitations on the line. Both of these players on opposite ends of the deck spectrum, but on the same side of the success spectrum today, meeting this deep into the tournament.
Yes. And as the old saying goes, the fourth time is the charm. Okay, so things going reasonably okay for Fan Chen in terms of keeping the pressure off of him. He needs to answer this Ghost Vacuum, and I see the second Ghost Vacuum in Hickman's hand. He is wisely holding that one back, only needs the one to disrupt an Abuelo's Awakening, and will deploy the second one after Fan Chen answers the first with a temporary lockdown, forcing Fan Chen to find a second copy of Lockdown before going off. The good news is that those lockdowns will also keep the pressure off of him. And so the first lockdown will buy time to find the second lockdown, which will buy time to reassemble the combo.
Stock up has been so. I mean, I know we've talked about it a lot today, but just the four of stock up just feels like nothing's out of reach when you have access to that in your deck.
Yeah, very important piece of card selection here. And I do see temporary lockdown.
Yeah, this is a big turn here, but a grip of cards for Yang. And it looks like we are, in fact, in game three here. So this is very, very big. A spot in the finals on the line. The attack comes through. The damage gets taken. Okay. Yang falling down. A couple more life points here as
Yeah, but still at a reasonably healthy 13 and has the lockdown here. The unfortunate reality for Hickman is that he's been stuck on two lands. Would have loved to deploy something like Screaming Nemesis, which is a threat that can press his advantage without overexposing him to lockdown.
exactly. Yeah, but all right, temporary lockdown. Clearing it away. Lightning strike to the face, it looks like where we're at here for Hickman.
And finds a Burst Lightning. This is likely just going to be a Ghost Vacuum turn. I wonder if there's a Confounding Riddle in hand for Yang. If he could just counter this Vacuum, he might be able to win next turn.
Yeah, that would go a very long way. And you nailed it.
Yes.
There it is. Just says no to the vacuum up front. You don't even have to worry about it later on. You just get rid of it before it can activate. And all of a sudden, two land mono red. Lizard's an okay follow up here, but a long, long way to go with very little to work with.
Yeah, and this could be game right now if Fan Chen is able to put Omniscience into the graveyard. Here's Charticourse. Is there an Omniscience in hand?
I think so.
Yep.
There we go.
And there is an Abuelo's Awakening. I'm not sure if there's other ways to get through the deck. And so we might see Fan Chen wait. Yeah, he has to wait. That's the unsung third part of the combo is having an invasion or a way to dig for one, and he does not have that. The good news is he has so much mana at this point, that mana will help him play around any burn spell. You can cast a Boiler's Awakening for X equals however much mana you have past 4, and the Omniscience, which would be a 1/1, has X plus and plus 1 counters. So if he can get the Omniscience up to a 4/4, which he has enough mana to do already, Fan Chen can play around a potential Burst Lightning from Hickman. So with Moment of Truth drawn, this might be the turn that he goes for it. If he does brick on this Moment of Truth, Hickman has an opportunity to untap and potentially point 2 burn spells at the Omniscience.
Yeah, really. I got to say, for an Omniscience combo, it's a little more involved than you're used to seeing. You're not exactly, this isn't show and tell Omniscience Emrakul. It does have a few more layers here involved, including needing to hit something off of this. And it looks like Moment of Truth finding Moment of Truth.
Yeah. So dig another 3 cards. Would really like to find a stock up or an invasion.
You might call it the Moment of Truth. Well, we did not. We found an Archaeologist.
And another Omniscience. The Archaeologist looks at 3 more cards.
Okay.
And that's a brick.
Wow.
And not take Archaeologist off of its own trigger. So we have a 1/4 and a 5/5 Omniscience. If Hickman, and is going to go for another Abuelo's Awakening, this will be a 1/1 Omniscience. Since when you cast it for no mana value, it's X equals 0.
Okay, Burst Lightning going upstairs.
Yeah. Hickman says, I'm not going to be able to kill both of those things. It's essentially 5 damage with your opponent at 8. Right. Might as well send that in order to deal with both Omnisciences. So if he can deal with both of them, he can probably just kill Fan Chen. It looks like it.
What an interesting game to be in. Obviously, if Hickman had found a third land, it would be a more interesting spot here. But we are talking about these Omnisciences in a combat sort of situation here. All right, temporary lockdown will remove a couple more creatures.
And the Philology Archaeologist. And now, does Fan Chen want to attack?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Send in for 5.
Wesley's loving it too. Attack with the Omniscience for 5, as you do.
There's land 3, so now it's going to be probably Screaming Nemesis, Screaming Nemesis.
I don't actually know how this game's going to end, but the fact that we got to witness that play right there, I got to say, was a highlight of a standard for me.
Yeah, but these Screaming Nemesis will end the game next turn. So Fan Chen has to find something off the top here.
Yep, third land unlocked Wesley's hand, and that, well, we had our fun attacking with the Omniscience, but it's time to get serious, which means combo, find some dig off the top to try to dig to a combo here for Yang, or Screaming Nemesis might close it out. Now, there's the draw, there's the battle.
Oh,
wow. The good luck draw, the good luck attack from the Omniscience cleared the way with the good vibes. The battle off the top ends it. Fan Chen Yang picking up the victory, moving on into the finals here at the NRG Championship Series in Madison. What an exciting ending. I didn't expect to see Omniscience beatdown, but hey, the Omniscience victory, that part made sense.
Yeah, and that's the first time we've seen this Omniscience deck fail in the cantrip chain to try to find Invasion. Things got very hairy, but Invasion of Arcavios coming off the top on the last possible turn. And really, I think that game just came down to the mana problems from Hickman. If he finds land 3 earlier in that game, those Screaming Nemesis attacking through temporary lockdowns would have likely given him the win. But
exactly,
a very close match. It goes to Fan Chen, and he becomes the first player into the finals here at the 10K NRG Standard Showdown in Madison, Wisconsin.
That's right. And I believe we will be taking a short break. We appreciate everyone bearing with us through all of that. We will be back on the other side with, of course, more magic here in Madison.